We are live. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas, and we're going to be doing a 2-hour news and call blitz in the first 2 hours of the show. And in the third hour, we're going to have Mark Dice of the ResistanceManifesto.com on, and who knows, maybe we'll get Alex Jones to pop in as he is hovering around the office as we speak. We'll see if he pops in to give Bermy a shout-out. But let's just start off with all the bad news. I mean, Alex covered the shootings over in... where was it? It was in Ireland, right? Northern Ireland, yeah. In Northern Ireland, and how that was all, armed security guards employed to protect an army barracks stood by as the gunman killed 2 soldiers, it is claimed. I haven't really focused on this story, so I'm going to jump to some other ones that he didn't cover today. IMF warns of global Great Recession. Global Great Recession. Come on. I mean, come on. What is that? What that means is, get ready, tough times ahead for everybody but the elite. Recession. I love how they soften words. It's like they don't say, hey, you're going to lose your job in your house. Recession. It's not even like depression anymore where it's like, oh my God, I'm going to need some pills or something. It's recession. I'm just going to pull it back a little bit. The International Monetary Fund, the IMF, big-time criminals over there, warned on Tuesday that the world economy will likely contract this year in a great recession, and African leaders said the financial crisis could undo hard-won social economic gains. I'm so sorry for Africa. I'm a little bit more upset that me and my friends might lose our jobs. Yeah, I think in our houses, and my mom might not be able to pay for her mortgage anymore. I mean, those are the real things that I'm worried about. We've already screwed Africa over enough. Anything that's been, socio-engineered is a plan of the elite. They're the ones that rape and pillage the resources there. So IMF warns of global Great Recession. Now remember, when I was talking about this 2 years ago, or Alex Jones was talking about this 2, 3, 4 years ago, saying that they were ready to blow out the economy at any time, the global economy. Look, tinfoil hat wearing guy, stop it. Just stop it with your tinfoil hat nonsense. I mean, obviously you believe in, little gray space aliens and, angels and all sorts of other ridiculous things like leprechauns and fairy tales. There's no way the economy's... We have this... George Bush told me we have the strongest economy ever, and by God, I believe that, man. He's a good Christian. That's what people were telling me. Well, IMF warns of global Great Recession. When they're coming out with this, get ready to bite the bullet, folks. Just get on the economy sucks news bandwidth here. United Tech to cut 11,600 jobs. That's right, more people getting laid off. See, global Great Recession doesn't mean like, it's going to be bad for a little while. No, this is really a Great Depression. This is a big power move. This is a land grab move. This is the move to reform economies into what they want them to be. We've all heard of the euro, obviously, and the European Union and their insurmountable corruption. Well, I don't know if they're going to call it the Amero. Who knows? Maybe they'll call it, the strawberry shortcake. I don't know what they're going to call the new North American currency, but I know they're trying to bring it in. I know they want a North American Union, and I know they have to blow out the economy to do so. So United Tech, 11,600 jobs. See you later. Bye-bye. And I'm sure tomorrow night I'm going to read another company that's laying off a bunch of people. That's what's going on in the world. Got a new little website up. It's the InfoWarrior.com. It's where all the blogs are at. We'll be back after this. Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.tv.
Welcome to the New World Order!
Welcome, folks. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas. And, I want to try a little bit new format. I know that Alex doesn't screen phone calls, and we don't believe in screening phone calls here at the InfoWars office. But if you're going to call in from now on, I'm going to put it into 2 subcategories, just so I can keep people somewhat on topic, and I can know when I'm going to go from a news blitz into something that's esoteric and, occultic. So when you pick up on the screener, and by the way, the call-in line is 866-582-9933. That's 866-582-9933. Just tell them if you want to talk about news. In other words, something that's in the news in the last couple weeks. Or if you want to talk about something esoteric. In other words, the occult symbolism, secret societies, that sort of thing. And that way I can take them in chunks, and I don't have to keep jumping back and forth. and I'll kind of know when things might get a little off topic, and I'm just going to be ravagely attacked. Because that seems to happen out here. So now we're sticking with news right now. This is a news program. You know, it just so happens that the people running the show are into the occult. Side issue. When they're blowing out the economy, that's what we should be talking about. And here it is. In rough times, government jobs have a greater appeal. Again, Jason Bermas has been telling you now for years that when they do blow out the economy, that's why they put things like Homeland Security in place, not to keep you safe, but to create a new bureaucracy to hire you later when you're laid off from your job. Okay? As the economic downturn forces corporations and small businesses to shed jobs, one large employer still has the help wanted sign out. The U.S. government. Experts say the federal government's civilian workforce of 2.8 million is likely to expand significantly over the next several years as it gears up to stimulate the economy, rescue the troubled banks, overhaul health care, and pursue other elements of President Barack Obama's agenda. We told you what the agenda was. It was to consolidate power, to socialize America, to really bring people into these government jobs, these slave jobs. Now, right now, 2.8 million. Okay, let's say we go by the census numbers. There's, between 280 and 300 million of us here in the United States. That's 1 in 100 work for the government now. Get ready, folks. It's going to be 10 in 100. It's going to be 1 in 10. That's what they want. They want 1 in 10 to suckle on the teat of government and really just get stuck on it, man. Seriously. They'll say, oh, we'll give you the benefits you can't get at your job anymore. Oh, but, you might have to snitch on your neighbor. What do you think? It's okay, right? They're doing bad things. I mean, this is what this is about. Remember when I told you that they were going to take what they could get? You didn't have to be in tip-top shape or be able to fire a gun or be part of, the Stasi jackboot force. You could be a janitor. You could be a clerk. You could be cutting hair. You could be the cafeteria guy. I mean, they're going to have jobs for you, and you're going to need those jobs, so you're going to take those jobs. Paul's like looking at me. Am I going to be on this government job thing? No, Paul, you're keeping your job. Hopefully we're all keeping our jobs. After the shake-up today, I'm not talking about who knows, but you know what I mean? It's just craziness, and here it is. Router's talking about it. In times of need, government jobs have a greater appeal. You bet they do. When they're saying, you know what, I think we're going to cut off your heat. You're not going to have electricity in your house. You'll take the job you can get, and the government's going to be offering it to you. So be very wary. Covered it on Jones today, covered it big time yesterday. But remember, right now they're trying to bring in, with all these headlines that Bernie Madoff's going to do 110 years or he's going to jail forever, they want to try him in a new global court system for the banks, which will be created and run by the bankers that really caused this. That's what they're trying. This is a power grab. Okay? They have a big show trial. Bernie Madoff just probably apologizes and cries on television, for God's sakes. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't mean it. I'll take whatever regulation you give me. I just want to do the right thing. And the bankers will be like, oh, we got to be stern with you, Bernie. We need these new regulations. And then you're just going to see them demonize other small banks and bring them into the same court system. And it won't be as publicized as the Bernie Madoff case because really their goal is to just create this world banking court system. It's all about global government, global control, globalism. Okay, if you don't believe me, UN climate chief, U.S. carbon cuts could spark revolution. See, this is another part of the plan to bring in this carbon tax system, right? But the head of the UN, one of these global government bodies, is saying, if Obama's really serious about helping the environment, which he's not, he could care less about helping the environment. He's serious about putting us under a new tax system of control. That's what a carbon tax is. It's to tax you how you live, how much waste you supposedly create, what kind of cars you drive, how big your house is. Don't worry, if you're rich enough and you got a big enough house, don't worry about it. That's who this is for, because they won't have to pay anything. It's the same deal. But the head of the UN said, if Obama's serious about fighting climate change and he commits the U.S. to the deep carbon cuts that scientists and campaigners say are needed, scientists and campaigners, in other words, our propaganda arm says is needed, then people may rise up. I mean, this is what Europe has pledged to cut carbon by 20 to 30% on the 90 levels by 2020. Okay? Folks, 2020 ain't that far away. Okay? We're at 2009. It's a little over a decade. Can you imagine 20 to 30% of carbon emissions being cut? It's totally nonsense. And I think what's the U.S.? Obama says he's going to try to cut them by 30%. I mean, that's they're telling him, you have to do this step by step. You have to take the population along very slow. They need very slow, very, very slowly. Wow, I can't believe how many callers just totally went ballistic. People are just calling in all over the place. This is good. Now I get to know what they want to talk about. Awesome.